Okay, very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming back to today's event. It's a Sunday, and then it's a morning time in many Asian countries. So I think we will have more participants later. But as scheduled, we'd like to start at the day 2 session. Today we have the 2 parts, morning session and afternoon session. In the morning session, we have 2 different parts. We will start with keynote speech by our chairperson, Masaru Takayama. Then we will have presentations about ecotourism supported by communities. And then we have basically 3 countries cases, Taiwan, in Indonesia, then Korea. So after each country's presentations, we will have a discussion time with questions and answers. So it's a housekeeping information before starting our keynote speech. Please mute yourself unless you have questions or any the comment to share with others. Otherwise, you can take the hands up. If you see, you can find that on the emoticons. So if you have any questions or urgent, the comment, you can, put the hands up sign. Then I will call your name. And then during the other presentations, if you have any questions, please write down your questions on the chat screen. If not, raise your hands. Then during the Q&A session, I would let you ask a question directly to the speakers. Okay, now I'd like to invite our chair, Masaru Takayama, and then he will, explain about some AEN activities.
Thank you, Dr. Mihi, for your kind introduction. Very good morning. Allow me to share my screen first. If I could do this right. We are always not so savvy on technology. There we are. Okay. Alrighty. So very good morning to you in Asia. We are very happy to begin the day 2. And my focus in the next 15 minutes is that I'll be talking about what AEN is doing as an organization. Maybe okay, maybe some of you may have noticed that our logo is really made up with our hands together. So this really shows that this is the actual picture taken at the very beginning when we have united at the establishment. And then we have different colors. Some actually got hair removed, I guess, to make the logo nicer. But anyway, that's who we are. And you see, so that's the logo we have. And just to talk about the presence and reach out of us is on the very right, we have the names of the countries and province. We have now 21 countries, Asia Pacific, starting from Australia, Bhutan, Cambodia, China, of course, mainland and Hong Kong, China, India, Indonesia, Japan, Laos, Malaysia, Mongolia, Myanmar, Nepal, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Singapore, South Korea, and Sri Lanka, and goes on, Thailand and Vietnam. So, and of course, Myanmar has been a big supporter since yesterday. And good morning to you all. What we have seen yesterday when Glenn Jumper from Global Ecotourism Network came to talk about it is that AEN is actually the regional initiative among other in the world. Asian Ecotourism Network is by far the most active. We would like to say that because of the recognition at the very beginning with DASTA. We had the Kun Pompo speaking yesterday. They were the one who were able to incubate within their government facility for the first 2 years when we did establish AEN back in 2015. So the AEN is a regional initiative of GEN with all these countries, but we also have a Thai-based board member, which have 6 additional board members based there because we are legal institution as a trade, not-for-profit trade association in Thailand. So our focus is to first understand who we are, but also what does ecotourism means to us in various countries. These are some of the handwritten scripts of ecotourism in different languages when we did the first script by the group. Some are Japanese, some are Thai and Korean, English, and of course Bahasa. But you can name that where we first need to understand who we are and what ecotourism means to us. And later, as an organization, our mission statement was established to connect AEN stakeholders for knowledge transfer, consulting, marketing, and business development to achieve sustainability. Of course, stakeholders means to us, of course, the communities go first, followed by private and public sectors, tourism, hospitality sectors, NGOs, and academia. So all these people must be engaged in order to deliver the best effort made by ecotourism projects. So that's what we think is very much of a concern. And in Asia in particular, we can say that already saw a lot of issues to be confronted. Tourism threats to indigenous people and cultures, especially in the Asia Pacific region, very rich in cultural diversity and indigenous group. Marine and terrestrial degradation and environmental footprints from mass production and consumption. We have exceeded the carrying capacities in ecologically sensitive area. We also talk about over-tourism in many areas we see in Asia and Pacific. Greenwashing in the tourism industry. People claim falsely that they're very green or eco, provided that there is no evidence to that. Lack of political will to protect environment and cultures from impacts of tourism vis-a-vis revenue. So these things we set as issues of concern at the outset of the AEN's foundation. Okay, and our response to those is to become the conservation advocates, protecting marine and terrestrial ecosystem and biodiversity. We try to promote community entrepreneurship through empowerment, skill transfer, and capacity building. We become a platform for indigenous peoples and rural communities, developing ecotourism and protecting cultural heritages. Standardize and develop certification programs and products for sustainable tourism in the region to avoid greenwashing. And lastly, foster political goodwill and partnership for policies and programs on sustainable tourism in the region. So these are the things that we want to try to get as much as possible under the limited capacity that we may have. So what we do in the areas that we work with, we do develop our ecotourism standards. We also provide as a GSTC partnership for the Sustainable Tourism Training Program. We also engage through e-learning. Today is, of course, a particular event, a big event, but we do have a smaller scale of the of e-learning sessions. As for the standard, we already have the Asian ecotourism standard for accommodation. This is also free to be downloaded on our website. And we also have just did the training of the trainers last year. So we are trying to get advanced course to become to train the trainers who can help us benchmark on site in the various countries. So this was one of the sessions that we have talked during this standard development. A lot of our board members are helping us in achieving this goal. And also, we are also undergoing development of the ecotourism standard for destinations on top of the accommodation. So that's something that we would like to see that happening in the coming years, hopefully this year, if not next year. As for Gstc training, we first thought that we, as a board members, needed to understand the standard of the global sustainable tourism. Well, because we are also creating our standards, setting our standards for ecotourism. Each of board members are obliged to understand what it really means globally when we talk about sustainable tourism. So we have actually had 3 or 4 times in the past for Gstc training. And if there's any demands or any interest in organizing the Gstc, the Global Sustainable Tourism Council's training, please contact us so we can actually make the training for you. Of course, Dr. Mihi is one, myself, and there's another Kazu from Japan is also the authorized trainer. And of course, Dr. Allen also here. About e-learning, we have done a series of e-learning in the past. These are also made available through our website. So if you're interested to take the time, these are all on the website. You can click on it. You can watch these last topics. And for declarations, we have had 2 declarations in the past. One was actually in Taiwan, AN Alison Declaration on Indigenous people. We have actually highlighted how ecotourism should be engaging with Indigenous people to mutually benefit. So that is one. And another was 2020 in China. We have done right before the COVID hit worldwide. We have discussed how the climate change adaptation and redefining ecotourism seasonality is important now that everybody's talking about carbon neutrality and decarbonization globally. So the details are more shown on the website. Should you be interested, please have a reference to them to get some ideas of what we are trying to do. As for upcoming events, we were originally trying to have this International Ecotourism Trauma to be held this year by the support of the Sustainable Tourism International School based in the Philippines. And of course, the former Tourism Minister, Dr. Mina, will be joining us at the end of this today's session. She'll be talking about how this Ecotourism Forum is going to take place next year. So please hang on to that until the end of the day. We will have a series of ecotourism sessions to be made on this ecotourism travel mart as a part of the training session. So all these things will be catered, and we have actually made a video, which is I'm not going to show it today because it's outdated in the sense that we were originally geared to do it for this year. Lastly, there have been a series of ecotourism talks. This is also hosted by Asian Adventures in India, who are able to help us in supporting and getting these a number of talks. where a lot of board members were able to participate and discuss about various issues on ecotourism. So I'd like to conclude by saying that we have a lot of challenges we face in Asia and beyond. We certainly need to establish stronger public and private relationship, make all types of tourism more sustainable. We need to combat greenwashing or false claims. We do have a lack of reliable information everywhere in the tourism industry, not limited to ecotourism. We are able to pull off a lot of the on-the-ground exchange of experience, if not limited by the COVID-19, but it's been very limited until now. And unclear legal information on ecotourism, of course, due to the language barrier, but we like to get this to be the source of knowledge for ecotourism related legal information also. So should you have any access to that, please contact us. And of course, human and financial resources is always the problem for running an organization. But at the same time, that if we are too dependent on the subsidies, then we cannot do anything that we think is more important than others. So we like to talk to the generous donors who can understand what we're trying to achieve over this 35 member of the board members spread world, Asia Pacific wide. So it would be nice to have you to work in collaboration. So that is pretty much all from me. In hoping that you could join us, this AEN family. As you see that a lot of us already like friends and family, because that we have the same mission. And like I said yesterday, we actually pay our membership for us among ourselves, so that we have the sense of belongingness and achieving the mutual goals. Thank you again for many associates, a lot of the ecotourism related organizations worldwide. This will make us AEN a very unique organization, united together to achieve sustainability through development in ecotourism. So thank you again. We do have a Facebook page, which is probably the most active one. We also have the LinkedIn information for AEN. And should you have any question, you can always contact us or myself in the email that is shown in front of you. So thank you so much for your time. I look forward to talking with you, and of course learning a lot from the series of speakers lined up for today. Thank you again, and please join AEN. Back to you, Mihi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you encourage the people to join AEN. So again, don't hesitate to reach out the country, the board members. You know, we have the board members from your country. So otherwise, you can reach out to us through Facebook or email, as Masaru explained. We will give you more information on the chat screen later. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next the session. Now we'd like to invite the speakers to talk about the ecotourism supported by communities. The different country may have different approaches to involve the communities. So let's just share from Taiwan case. So I'm happy to invite Mr. Eun Song Chen. So Chen, you can share your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like to introduce him with a short bio. He joined the Taiwan Ecotourism Association since its establishment in 2001 as one of the founding members. And being elected as one of the board members or supervisors since 2005 to help promote ecotourism activities in Taiwan. Also being a committee member of Agriculture Extension Committee and Organic Center of the university, that's the National Ilan University, respectively. He dedicated a lot his time and effort on agriculture ecotourism, particularly in some remote communities or indigenous villages. His current research partly focused on the application of vermicomposting with the eco-farming, as well applying biological control on the invasive golden apple snail. His belief is that only when the environment is getting better, the people and the tourism industry will be better. He will keep on doing something good, like promoting ecotourism and organic agriculture, aquaculture, as well as other eco-farming sectors. Thank you. It's a really impressive CV. So, Song, could you share your screen?
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, hello, we can see your screen, so you can start your speech.
Okay, I'll get started. Okay, everybody, good morning. Nikki, our moderator. So I'm very happy to meet you all on air today. Okay, so I would like to share my talk regarding the 20 years ecotourism in Taiwan, introducing the Taiwan Ecotourism Association, what we did in the past and the near future. Okay, so let me give you some outlines. I will divide my talk into several sections. Origins are tea and historical review and achievement and introspection and the future prospects. Also, you can see the photos here is where I came from is Yilan County. It's the biggest freshwater lake. It's 17 hectares. Okay, I had a program, it's a project to do the fish survey frequently. So this, I think this during the Christmas holiday with my students to conduct the fish survey. Okay, let's get started with the tea. What you see, the tea actually is not the drinking tea you can see. So T stands for Taiwan Ecotourism Association. Okay, so this is been taken in 2019. Yeah, you can see the Masaru-san right here. It's Aboriginal villages. Okay, so because I think you know Taiwan with rich, valuable ecological resources and very good biodiversity. However, we had some degree of vulnerability and rarity. So somehow by land, we still not enough the environmental ethics and resource conservation concepts. So I think it's a good point for the TA was founded by land in 2001. Okay, so here you can see the T was founded in 2001 and in accordance with the International Year Ecotourism in UN. So I think that's a good point. It's a good good timing to get promote the ecotourism in Taiwan. So you can see the pictures here is also where I came from in Yilan is Nanfang Ao. The picture right here, I think would be better or prettier than probably in Hawaii. I think Masaru-san been there a few years. So here you can see mountain and the seawater all together. So I think it's a really good point to promote ecotourism right here. Also, regarding the agricultural, the rice farming can be integrated with the duck raising. So is also what I want to introduce you a bit. So for ecological concepts or we Oriental philosophy, we emphasize the sansan. What means the sansan? That means sentai. That means ecological. and Senhua means living, and also the center means produce. But actually, the core value is in the center is the living, is the life. It's only in the humankind, but also the other creators. Okay, so it's very important to have our development plan. Like here, we want to conduct some education and training, cooperate with industry, and also establish platform, and also conduct evaluation, and also try to enhance international cooperation and markets. So altogether, we have some sections in T, but in terms of internal affairs, we have education and training and mentoring programs, symposium, policy participation. So altogether is our yeah, you can see we had the major training here. So started from 2001 until 2016. So in the beginning is a lecture workshop, and also the eco tour guide training after 2007. So you can see some pictures here. Also some major training event. You can see that we have been to the Zhou Tribe. You will see more or in the later introduction, the ecological tour guide training, and also we had the Taipei City guide training, as well the international firefly conference English interpreter training. So altogether, also we had some mentoring program right here. We had the Wulai and some also the Artisan Zhou Ancient Trail Ecotourism Guidance, also Nengao Yueli Eco Tour Guide Training, also the four village in the Aboriginal village in Danda Ecotourism Guidance. So we want to seek demo eco-sites around the island. So you can see quite a lot our demo farm or demo sites right here. In terms of conference, for normally we will have a domestic conference every year, and for international conference every other year. So you can see we had the 18 thematic ecotourism symposium in the past few years, and also some international ecotourism conference like the 2016, 17, and 19. So you can see a lot our participants, most of them coming from AEM members. So it's a 2016, our 15th anniversary. So it's also past achievement and future prospects. Look back what we did in the past. Also, here you can see we also doing some advice on the eco label, ecotourism, as well the Huiwachun eco label. I would like to focus on the eco label on Huiwachun as I have been deeply involved the eco label certification. So here is very popular for the east coast of Taiwan. You have the Huiwachun activities, but here, yes, people like to see the marine animals, whales or dolphins. When they get interaction together, also you can see the tourist numbers with the Huiwachun tourists getting increased quickly, and nowadays around between 300,000 and 400,000 tourists per year, every year. So it's quite a lot of tourists come to see the marine mammals here. But also you can see how many Huiwachun birds around just in front of the turtle island. It's like the turtle shed, okay? So you can see the 6 Huiwachun birds around here. So it's a bit issues with the negative impacts. So for so many watching birds to look, to see, watch the only a group of cetaceans, whales, or dolphins. So it's very important for us to establish the eco label whale watching. Okay, so in terms of the regular activities, we had the monthly talk on ecotourism. We will invite ecotourism experts or academics to share their experience on ecotourism, like the Professor Wang Xin and also the famous writer Xu Lulin. Okay, we had many participants to join the monthly talk. Also, what achievements and introspection we did in the past. So it's I show you the traditional transportation for the joint wood, particularly thing probably in the Alisan. Okay, some achievements we had a stable team members around 225, and we had some stable alliance connectivity and stable economic basis, and also good cooperation with the Global Ecotourism Association. Okay. In terms of milestone at T, you can see we have some memorandum signed between other organizations, like Ecotourism Australia in 2014, and also with China in 2015. Okay, memorandum on the Fanjin Mountain. Okay, Guizhou also become a member of Asian Tourism Network since 2016. Okay, so here is my first time to attend AEN's annual general meeting in Bangkok 2018. Also, you can see Nikki, Masaru-san, some members right here. 2019 is my second time. I also joined the Gstc training to get the certificate on Gstc. So in terms of conference, the famous is here is a 2019. We had the high at the mountain and indigenous ecotourism. So you can see some members right here. And also after conference, we had a post-conference tour. We go to Alisan, the Zhou Tribe village. So you can see some people here. And someone, I think you can recognize the guy, the crazy guy, Jen Smith, okay? So we had a good time in the Zhou village. So we had some good experience sharing, and you see there's no electric coffee. So doing the traditional coffee making, okay? And also, yeah, some group pictures right here. So as Masaru-san just introduced a bit, we had the Alisan declaration after the conference. So it's our formal representative at T, Mr. August Wu, CT, on behalf of T to sign the declaration, okay, together with Masaru. So here is I want to share you a short film regarding the legends of land. So hopefully is good quality, just about 3 minutes.
Okay, good.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
But there's no audio.
Okay, so we are back to my PowerPoint. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me share again. So can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, okay, let's move on. This conference just been held in last November. So we did it particularly in the COVID-19. So I think we have some waypoints being presented, being given in the conference. So you can have a look at it in YouTube if you want to see or had an interest to look at it. So here we also had a domestic participants right here, and also Masaru-san being giving his congratulatory remarks. Also the Ari giving his talk. Also Peter, yeah, also share his CBT experience with the local experts, and also in terms of future prospects, I think we AEN as a big family, so we can have good cooperation in the future to promote ecotourism, particularly in or after the COVID-19. Okay, so looking into the future, I think we can do more evaluations on ecoscience and the monitoring of natural resources and traveling quality, and implement some conservation and recreation ecotourism regulations. Also connecting with government, academics, NGOs, travel agents, mass tourists, and also raise more public awareness on environment and cultivating each individual's sentiment on land leases. Okay, so that's all I want to share with you. Back to Mickey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I missed the great, the time in Taiwan. Masaru explained the annual meetings, and then we had the semi-conference in different countries, Thailand, Taiwan, and China. But due to COVID-19, it was stopped. But later we will have this kind of, country visit with the members. So don't hesitate to join us. Thank you very much. It was great to
Thank you.
learn about your 20 years history. So now I'd like to invite our second speaker, Dr. Wu. So he's here with us. So Dr. Wu, you can share your screen. Ian Wu is an urban development planner, associate professor, and head at the Department of Tourism, Chungnan University, Taiwan. He's also a member of Ecotourism Taiwan, which is an NGO and consultant for tourism policy in some countries. Current research focuses on community and sustainable tourism. So he will share with us about Aboriginal ecotourism of Taiwan. Okay, the stage is yours.
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Because I'm not familiar with the room, so the AEN asked us to only provide 10 slides, but I have more than 10 slides now. It's my honor to be after Dr. Chen. He shared a lot of Taiwanese experiences, and he also mentioned about Aboriginal tourism. So I want to introduce my personal experiences in Iran. Okay, so first of all, I just want to take Nan'o as my case study area. Okay, can you hear me now? I'm
So
not
could
sure.
you make it a slide mode? You can just push the F5.
Ecofy.
F5.
Is that okay? It's later.
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yes, you can push that one. Yeah, click.
Okay.
Yes.
You can see now. Thank you. Thank you.
So
So
that here is not presentation mode yet. Could you that is presentation mode again?
okay.
Yes.
Is correct right now?
It hasn't come.
Because I am not sure the speaker and the listener's screen is the same.
Okay, then let's just proceed in that way. Yeah.
Okay. So, I just want to show the Aboriginal tourism in Nanao Township. And why I want to, I cannot move on. Okay. Because it's very interesting. Dr. Chen is also in Yilan, and I take the case study area in Yilan. So it's very interesting. There's a main highway. Maybe it's contracted several years this year from Taipei to Hualien and pass by Yilan. And let's make some inferences about a regional area. And I'm curious and I'm interested how will it move on. So I ask some and interview some people there. And I think the most interesting thing is about how will it become now. I just passed by. And as you all know, the Aboriginal people in Taiwan is less than only 10%. And but however, most of Taiwan's territory is occupied by Aboriginal people in the past. But now, Taiwanese government will try to consider our sink to control the area and later make some inflection. And okay, I introduce the area first. The Nanao Township is located in Yilan County. And the Yilan County, there are two main Aboriginal townships in Yilan County. Let's call the Datong Township and Datong and the Nanao Township. This area is in Yilan. You can see that. Can you? Okay. And the Nanao County is a very interesting area in Qing Dynasty, even though it's one part of Yilan government, but in fact, the territory is still controlled by the Aboriginal people. That's called Ataya. And in Japanese periods, because the Aboriginal people want to fight, so the Japanese government tried to force all the people migrated to a flat area. And after 10 or 20 years, all the Aboriginal people amalgamated with the Han people. And now they have more and more culture in common. And now they are more, and they are around 80% Ataya Aboriginal people in this township compared to the Aboriginal rate is around 3.4% in Yilan County.
Then very sorry for interruption, but you need to move to another slide. We still see the second slide.
I think that's a similar problem. This time I have a speech and I move on in my screen, but the audience, they say they cannot see it move on. So you cannot see I move on the screen now?
Could you,
You're on the second page. So best,
yes. I have
click the another slide.
Yes, I have do, but in my screen I can see.
Maybe you did on yours, not the shared screen. Yes, now it's moving. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have two. I can, it maybe in full screen, there's some problem, I think.
Okay, now it worked.
So, okay, so I can use this screen, not a full
Yes,
screen
yes.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have just mentioned about the Qing Dynasty. You can select.
Mhm.
Okay, in Qing Dynasty and in Japanese periods. And all the Aboriginal in the past, they may be in the mountain area. And the Japanese period, they forced them to move to the flat lands for easy to control and govern. And so there's Ataya people. And it's an area with full of natural abundance. There's the Fenniaolin fishing port. So now, because the highway has been constructed, so the port is more and more popular. More people would like to visit this port. And it's an area facing the Pacific Ocean with a very beautiful sea landscape. And it's just by the Suhua Highway. And the Ataya people, they also have cool spring. It's a very popular area. And then now the township government, they have arranged some construction financial support to construct the area to attract people, tourists to come. And that's called Nanao. It's their country of the Ataya people. And the Forest Bureau, they would like to have native trees over there. They preserve a lot of native trees over there. So the area have a lot of natural, or we can say ecotourism resource. And that's layer 4, very beautiful. You can swim in over there. And there's also a story in Nanao about and related to Japanese government. Because in Japanese period, they like ask people to know the lawyer. So in that time, they a story about the Ataya female student and in love, fall in love with a Japanese teacher. And as the Japanese teacher go back to Japan, and the student stay over there waiting for the teacher to come. And that's the romantic story. So now the story have been made up to spread the tourism and attract the tourists to come. So they make a bell there to celebrate the story. And I have some description about the different village. The Nanao County have 5 villages. That's called Dongyue, Chaoyang, Wuta, and Jiuyuan, Jinyang, or Yuehua. That's called, there's 6 villages. And the different village have different story and different attraction. So the people there, they would like to integrate them, become a platform to attract the tourists to come. So the government try to help them. So that's called the Forestry Bureau, and the NGO called the Southern Maya Trail Association. And there's also Labor Bureau. They provide the financial support to employ the young people to come and go back to work there. And the Aboriginal Bureau, they provide some other support. So all the 6 village, there's one village is very strong called the Junyue. So the Junyue Association is called, and they become a platform. They could call the Joint Name Our Association, and the connection cooperate with other village. So they have developed a lot of different tourism activities, like they have used the Nanao Trail to attract people to come. they ask the people to work together to rebuild the trail. And there's also a story. This is a princess of Ataya people. This is a princess, and she has got a very good education from the Taiwan University, and she gave up her great job in Taipei and go back to her county to find some way for helping their people. For example, they ask some contribution to use the helicopter and help their older go back to their trip to see their memory. So this is a very romantic story. There are many young people come back. They have their different position in their association. And they try to use the traditional flat drying fish. And they ask the tourists to come to the Fennialing port to buy the fish together, and they teach the tourists how to make the fried fish dryer, and they can go back. And they also ask the tourists, they also teach the tourists how to make up their traditional clothes. So I think it's very interesting the experience for the people in the city. And there's also similar activity. They draw the ball, and they also have some activities in the past. I think I take all this photo in 2016. So they have started all this stuff about 5 years ago. They asked people to come to join them to rebuild their ancient building, to know how to build the Ataya's house. And they also have a website. So I translate it into a QR code. If you want to know more about Ataya's ecotourism, you can scan the QR code to know what kind of activity now they have doing now. I think in the end, I want to say something. All these people there, all these trips, and they will face the similar problem. I think there are two topics in Nan'ao Township, because now there even more youngs come back, but all these youngs, their salary is from the government support. As the support is stopped, they may go back to the city. So I think manpower is still limited in this area. And the second point is all these Aboriginal ecotourism, they lack of common conscious. Some people think we have to develop more, and some people think we have to stop because we don't want our trip to become the city urbanized. And the second part is, I think culture is a key point of Aboriginal tourism. So I think different races, they have to emphasize their personal culture special, so they can attract the different people to come. And now they will face some crises because of the Suwa highway improvement from Taipei to Hualien have been established. And more people will pass by. How can they attract people to stop there? I think they will face the new challenge now. And there's also other issue there. This 5 years ago, Taiwanese government tried to consider to put some nuclear waste over the Aboriginal area. So they have to face these issues. So I think that's my personal sharing. I thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Wu. It was very interesting. And then the last part, the challenges, they confront with is the community-based tourism also have the, the similar challenges. So now I'd like to have Q&A session. So we can have 10 minutes. So is there any questions you'd like to ask to our two speakers? Anyone? Yeah, here is one question from the chairperson. What is the both? Yeah, the both speakers. What is the biggest challenge for the indigenous people if they chose not to work with tourism, or maybe there's no exception? Interested in understanding the decision process, bringing to a consensus between tourism industry, ecotourism organization, and the indigenous peoples. So what's the biggest challenge? So can they, yeah.
My response or Dr. Chen?
Okay, I think probably I would say even no tourists around, they can still live a very good life. Don't worry about the indigenous people. They have their traditional wisdom to live with the nature. So particularly in the pandemic time, I think even no tourists, they're still going on their own life. So I think that's what we need to learn or respect the Aboriginal people what they have, particularly in the climate, climate change. Also, how we need to cooperate to how to deal with the resilience. Okay, so all those issues probably we can learn from the Aboriginal people. So I think that's my own viewpoints. Thank you. Thank you, Masaru-san.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, and personally, I think we also respect the Aboriginal indigenous people's voice. They respect the land. I think a similar situation everywhere, also in Japan. So in Hokkaido and the traditional Japanese culture, they have also have some confliction. So I think the people there, or about we say indigenous people, they will be more young people. They go back to their trips, and they will have some knowledge about the modern society, and they can try to find the connection with their traditional culture. I think it's not easy. Similar problem, I think, not only in indigenous tourism. I think also in some Han-Diners society, also in remote village, they will have to face. So the consciousness is the most important, I think. Thank you.
Yeah, but it was great to hear, they are okay without tourists during pandemic. It means that they don't, highly depend on tourism. So I hope, they can control the tourism development by themselves and not just forced to accept tourists as required. And here is the second question from Wendy. Wendy is really interested in homestay. So her question is, what is the biggest problem in the leadership and management of homestay activities in Taiwan? So
Homestay?
who will go first? Yeah, homestay.
Homestay? Can you say the question again?
So I think that's a general homestay, including indigenous villages. Usually when we developed community-based tourism, homestay is the business by the community. Yeah. So is there any problem or it's managed well?
Okay. So Dr. I say first. Okay. And also, I have some article about the homestay situation about after pandemic area, and the question is about how will the industry become, not only in tourism industry, but I think in that situation, remote community will become more and more popular. We are very familiar with that situation. And now, next year in 2021, the technology industry, they have a lot of profile because we have to use laptop, we have to use smartphone, we have to use a different camera. So this time, Dr. Chen have some problem in screen sharing. I think the technology will play a very important role in the future. And how will the tourism industry become? There's a news in Taiwan today, and Taiwan is a native trip all around Taiwan by trail. This kind of product was sale and last night and sell out in 38 seconds. And the cost is very expensive, but it's sold out very quickly. So I think people would like to move on and would like to go out. I think that trend is the chance of tourism. As after the pandemic, maybe we can find some way to solve with that, and the tourism will become more popular in the coming years. Thank you.
Okay, I think I would like to add one point on the homestay, particularly indigenous people right here. So for the homestay in Aboriginal village, the most difficulties, the biggest difficulty is they are not legal in terms of the B&B. We know with for normally for B&B, they need to have the certificate to operate the homestay business. But for most of the Aboriginal village, for the people, they are not able to get the certificate or license to run their business. So actually, there's another way of doing this, particularly for the Aboriginal Affairs Council, 原民会. They try to get to do the alternative way to what we say it's a 接待家庭. Actually, the meaning is the homestay family. Yeah, they are not the what we see is it's a certified or legal how we see the B&B, but actually they can operate business in this alternative way. Okay, that's another way to deal with the license, to deal with the law, to deal with the regulations. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Song. Yeah, it's like a association, Aborigines Association. And does the government find it very hard to educate the Aborigines in the village because they need to interact with the tourists?
But as I know, they will have some, what you say, funding to support in the beginning. So some of the Aboriginal people, they will be happy to accept the policy or how we see all those we say training, education. So they are getting used to those, how we see the homestay, the business, as I know. But actually, still a long way to go. As a, you know, for the homestay, that means they need to have actual houses, actual house to together share with the tourists. So normally they won't be able to provide the sufficient space to do the homestay, what we say, the business. Okay, that's one of the big issues. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from Byron Hatchler. You talked about the importance of government adding infrastructure development to add accessibility. In your experience, what was important to be able to achieve this buy-in, especially to minority, indigenous, and remote area?
Sorry,
So
I
on the
think of-
chat screen, yeah.
So I think the question is not easy to answer or easy to respond, because I think the government, they do have the what we say, the resources. No matter it's a funding or other policies, they will try to empower the Aboriginal people in their own way, but still there's a gap between we say the Aboriginal people and what we regard us as a Han, okay, as a Han people or whatever. So I think the most important is to respect what they think, what their concepts or perspectives, and try to incorporate what they think, what they're thinking. So that's what I want to share. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Wu?
Yes, I think the problem, I have some misunderstanding about this problem, but it's fine. I think Dr. Chen has answered. And the later problem is about how can the people help the indigenous people to rebuild their infrastructure. And we have different identification about this issue. For example, after the typhoon come to Taiwan maybe several years ago, there's a indigenous village was broken, and the bridge was broken also. And there's only less than maybe around 10 family over there. But the government, they have to consider, we have to pay a lot of, arrange a lot of project to rebuild the village over later, from the flat to that village, because it's not a great idea. It's too waste. But for the indigenous people, they have their culture. They have to consider to preserve their traditional culture over there. So if the bridge is broken, they're not rebuilt, maybe they have to move to a flat area, and the traditional culture will disappear. So I think the main point is we have to respect the indigenous people to know what is there really wrong, and they need a lot of connection, and we have to more discussion about this issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We have more sessions to discuss about community-based ecotourism development, including this kind of issues. So let me move on to the next speakers. So thank you very much to doctors for sharing Taiwanese cases. Thank you very much.
You're most
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you.